Y'all like a zoo, a bippity boo, a bippity boppity boo.
See the same people every other day, but we never say hey, cause we're never looking the way, or my face was in my notebook. We passed each other, didn't look. But these are the people of the towns, of the towns, the towns, of the towns. And large cities are just a bunch of big small towns, big small towns, overlapping side by side, big small towns. I see new people every day. Everyone's on their way, doing the things that fill their day. And I'm going places too, doing the things that I do with my time. We are the people of the towns, of the towns, the towns, of the towns. And large cities are just a bunch of big small towns, big small towns, diagonal, top to bottom, big small towns. Be nice to the people of the towns. Once in a while look around, cause what's going around's coming around. What came around's coming around. What's going around's coming around. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around in the big small towns. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around in the big small towns. Big, 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 small towns. Word gets around the big small towns.
Hey everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do this show most Tuesdays. I almost said Thursdays. Most Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. That's simulcasting to other places that don't matter, but one of them is actually starting to give us money, I think, for some crazy reason. Anyway, speaking of money, you can support this project. You can support me writing on the blog, whatever the fuck it is. Go to echoplexmedia.com, click the support link at the top. Pick your favorite way, or I don't know, tell a friend about this, or ask the person that does the thing about the California News podcast to just make us number one, just to fuck around and do it. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr while Grindr is still legal.
And this is the councilman, as always. You can find me on X still, because I just love trolling Elon Musk. at THE_councilman. You can also find me up at City Hall. I seem to be there a lot these days. I was there today. I was waiting to get into public comment, Producer Dave, but they were just taking too darn long, and the council members just kept blathering on, and I had to leave. I had things to do. So fortunately, you're not going to see the councilman in public comment this week, but perhaps
so that's
next week.
A crazy juxtaposition because the Shasta meeting today was under 2 hours.
Oh, miraculous! Were they just doing consent calendar, or
how many slurs and just general misinformation and malcontent? How much of that can you fit in 2 hours? Well, we're going to find out in about an hour and a half.
Oh, that's lovely. I don't know what the over under is, but I'm sure I'll take the over when it comes to Shasta just about any time. But welcome as always. We've got a great docket of local news to get into this week. But just want to shout out that we are now, I think, less than 2 months away from the District 3 special election here in San Jose. And boy, are we hearing a whole lot about it on the news. Like, I've got 0 stories in the docket about it. So
it's how many? What'd you say? 6 weeks?
I mean, 8 weeks probably.
8 weeks. 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah. So April 8th is the election. So we're looking, we're about 8 weeks out now. So
I don't expect to see anything until 2 weeks beforehand, honestly. Because I don't think anybody's that interested in this. I think they're just glad that guy's gone, honestly.
Yeah, right. And again, as we discussed, they're not going to make the connection between, the fact that guy's gone and they have to have this other vote going on. And ballots will be mailed out in about a month. So that's about when people start realizing, something's happening when they get the ballot in the mail. And that's typical with all elections. But the 5 people that are going to vote in this election will be voicing off pretty soon. So we'll have everything they want to say. And I'm sure local news will have a story about it at some point.
Well, we're going to get right into it. Leading off, the more I learn about Fremont, the more I'm glad I got the fuck out of that fucking place.
Well, maybe it's because you left. Who knows? Maybe your vibe was keeping things, on the up and up there, and now without you, it's just popping off. So,
maybe.
Yeah, so we're going to find out more about a new ordinance that's being proposed in Fremont that's not only out to sweep our unhoused neighbors out of sight, but also could criminalize the folks that are trying to help them.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. So NBC Bay Area has more.
Maybe I should have voted against, maybe I should have voted for the mayor. just did the other person because I just left that shit blank. I was like, fuck both of these people.
Well, we'll get to see the mayor in this clip.
Fremont may be poised to enact one of the strictest ordinances yet, banning encampments. But advocates say it goes way too far. Today in the Bay's Bob Riddell joins us live outside Fremont City Hall this morning. And Bob, leaders say this plan is focusing on violators, but critics fear even volunteers.
That's funny. That could either be City Hall or like a McMansion in Fremont.
True. And Bob looks like he just woke up too.
Correct. Good morning, Jill. Our One Homeless Outreach Group tells us that this new proposed ordinance that'll be...
This guy streams on Twitch all night after work. Fucking leave him alone.
...here in Fremont would not only criminalize homelessness, but would target the people who are trying to help the unhoused with this new law. People who they say are just simply trying to help. So tonight at 7 o'clock here at Fremont City Hall, the City Council will vote on this new ordinance that would not only ban encampments on any public property and private property not specifically designed for camping, but it would also make it a crime to, quote, aid and abet an illegal encampment. Those caught breaking the law could face possible jail time and a $1,000 fine. Last night, our own Raj Mathai spoke with Fremont's mayor, who says the city has no intention of targeting groups who help the unhoused and claims that...
Well, great. Rewrite the law.
Yeah, right.
use the same aiding and abetting language in their municipal codes as well.
So this is not unique language to the city of Fremont. It's
great. You just fucking copied it. You chat GPT, give me a fucking ordinance about encampments.
Well, they jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, producer Dave. So,
commonly found. And the intent is to prevent large wooden structures like in the waterways or in the parks that are not only not safe for the community, but also not safe for the people, the unhoused people that live in them. And so we will never enforce any of these provisions on people that want to give water or food or supplies or tent or even the outreach workers.
A case of whack-a-mole where you're just moving people around or potentially arresting them up to 6 months in jail or $1,000 of fines that they can't pay, or worse still, arresting people like our friends at the Dominican Sisters of Mission San Jose that go to the Osgood encampment and feed the poor and clothe the poor as part of their mission of mercy. They too could be arrested under the aiding and abetting provision of this ordinance.
I want to watch the Sisters of Mercy body slam a Fremont cop.
The mayor of Fremont tells us his city has reduced homelessness by 21% over the past 2 years and has built almost 2,000 affordable housing units. So again, city
that is
council
fucking
taking
not
this
true.
issue up at their regular meeting tonight.
Where the fuck is the affordable housing? Fuck you.
Reporting live here in Fremont, Bob Riddell, Today in the Bay.
This bullshit, because like when I had to move, my mom was like, "Oh, maybe we could find you a nice place that you could afford in Fremont." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, they built some affordable housing." I'm like, "Where?"
Yeah, not likely at all. And 2,000 units, Jesus Christ. The city of San Jose struggles to build that many units of affordable housing, and they're not even meeting their goals or anywhere close to it. So no one's meeting their goals for affordable housing. No one is doing enough to provide more places for people to live, to go, whether they, we can't give them a home right away, and it's, just giving them space to live and exist, to park their RV, to, which we'll get into in a second, to to set up a tent, someplace safe where they can have access to like a clean restroom or clean facilities and food and regular services, and hopefully slowly but surely get themselves back to a semblance of comfort and space where they can think about getting their lives back on track, right? Like the fact that the mayor has to go on camera, like you pointed out, and clarify this new law, right? Proposed law says all you need to know about it, right? Like, it's flawed. Go back, fix it, and clarify that the Sisters of Dominican Mercy or whatever are not going to get body slammed by, or not going to have to body slam a cop.
They're not
right?
going to have to body slam the cops. Excuse you.
Right. Don't make them do it.
The Sisters of Mercy are the kind of people, I think, who would be a little bit shy about maybe sending back a meal at a restaurant that wasn't quite right, but then they would body slam a cop because maybe they actually respect those who serve.
Yeah, it's all about levels and values, right? What do you value the most? I too am reluctant to send back the thing when, you added radishes and I forgot to ask. Anyway, so
if you're nice about it, they don't care. Like, it's not their food.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and they want to. At the end of the day, they want to serve, right? They do want to serve you and make sure that you're happy. So that's, I like that.
So this is like fucked up because he went on there. First of all, you could write the law in such a way that it does that. You just say that there's got to be language where you carve it out, where like basically fucking humanitarian aid is not subject to this law.
Right. And he basically admitted that, it's not our fault, our staff, or we just chat GPT this from like whatever, Antioch, right? And others, Stockton or whatever other cities are doing this. I don't mean to single them out for whatever reason those names came out. San Mateo. There you go. How about another one? It's obviously not unique to Fremont, and the misworded, vague, whatever you want to call it, obfuscating law is not unique to Fremont either. So there might be other cities that are dealing with similar ordinances. But yeah, if as a communications professional, if you're a CEO, if the mayor has to go on camera and explain a law to people that should be pretty straightforward, then you've got problems and you should go back and fix it. So hopefully they will do that.
Or if it doesn't seem straightforward, but the mayor can say, hey, actually, there is language in there. I know these things are a little bit complicated to understand, but anybody is free to call my office and my staff would be happy to explain this to you.
Right. Yeah. If you look at subparagraph G of section 6, you will see. But sorry, I have to sneeze here in a second. I'm going to try and hold it off. But yeah, so I also have to shout it out. We had live on camera there, Raj interviewing Raj. It was Raj squared for a second. It was beautiful.
No, I got to tell you, like remember when we covered the mayor's race in Fremont, and I was just like, I'm not voting for either of these motherfuckers.
Yes, I do. Who was his opponent? I forget. Was it Vinny Bacon?
Some white real estate developer, I think.
Maybe Vinny Bacon.
No, this guy was it was like a slumlord versus like a tech millionaire or some shit. Some shit like that. Like,
great. What do they call that? Bargain? Fool's bargain. Oh my God. Well, hey, you get what you pay for in the city of Fremont. Apparently,
it's like it's like that thing, Sophie's Choice, except you don't. Neither of them actually dies, unfortunately.
Well, I might be a moving in with the in-laws in Fremont sometime soon if we do this home renovation. So I will be a resident of your former homestead. So might have to jump into the community engagement scene there and see what I can do. Who knows? How long did you live there before you can run for office? Like 30 days?
I don't know. What do you know what neighborhood they're in generally?
They're up by Mission Peak. So like one of those.
Oh, they're in Mission.
Off of Mission Boulevard near the Mission, near Loney, that whole area.
Yeah, they're in that's Mission. They're
the foothills.
They're doing quite well for themselves.
They are. They did. They're retired now, so they did very well, and their unions did very well for them too, and got them great pensions. So shout out to unions.
My parents are plebs who live out down in the flats.
They have apparently they were in those areas at some point, and they have ascended. They have been economically mobile, or whatever we want to call it. A good immigrant family, a good example for Donald Trump. Anyway,
so we're gonna move on to winners and losers here. Where if you were rooting for somebody, that's who loses.
Very true. And we're going to segue right into a similar story from the city of San Jose, and the people who are losing are folks who are unfortunately forced to live in their RVs right now and are finding it more and more difficult to do that.
It's a statewide issue, and now San Jose is taking action. The city is clearing out certain areas of RVs. So the question now, where are those people going?
Yeah,
who fucking cares is the city's answer.
Just going to nearby neighborhoods, triggering old concerns in new places. NBC Bay Area's Ian Cole explains.
It was nearly a month ago San Jose crews began placing no parking signs along specific streets where people have been living in RVs for months. The city is focusing on 30 sites near schools and neighborhoods. The signs are clear: move within 2 weeks or you'll be towed. This site near Chenoweth Park was the first to get the warning, and today you can see the street is cleared out. The no parking signs remain to remind anyone to think twice before parking here overnight. But the signs do not say where these people should go instead. So we started investigating where they went and found a handful just a couple miles away.
5 or 6 people from Chenoweth moved over here.
Some neighbors aren't thrilled about it and have complained to the city. Others say they're not bothered.
My main concern is, keeping it clean and just making sure that nothing catches on fire out here. Because we do got homes here, people that live here, and you see the fences are real close.
One place some of the RV dwellers can eventually move to is a safe RV parking site near the flea market.
Oh, it looks like a prison. Good job.
It looks like the gulag.
Yo, I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
It
does. It really does.
Never read that book, Gulag Archipelago? Who knew it was about a safe parking zone for your fucking RV?
What are we doing to people?
And homeless advocate Gail Osmer says the project
Gail. I know Gail.
Is taking too long to open.
It should have been open a year ago. That's the truth. Let's get these open. Let's get them going. Let's get people into it.
The mayor even admits the pilot program establishing the tow-away zones is not a perfect solution, but says it's better than nothing, and the current situation isn't sustainable.
The housed neighbors in those areas where they've had RVs and other vehicles parked for months at a time, as the mayor's previously pointed out, some of them more than a year, they deserve some relief.
The city is now working its way through the 4th site of 30 total.
It's not a magic wand that's going to solve homelessness or even RV congregations in San Jose. It was intended by our city council to circulate these vehicles.
But as more people in RVs are told to move somewhere else, don't be surprised if their first solution is to find another nearby neighborhood.
Well, yeah,
cat and mouse until there's a.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. Dumbass.
Ian Cole, NBC Bay Area News.
What do you mean? Don't be surprised if their first solution is to park their fucking home somewhere else? Fuck you.
Right. Good Lord, don't be surprised. It's exactly what does happen when you have no solutions and you're just trying to solve a problem by literally shoving human beings under the rug. That's pretty much what we're doing, right? We're shoving them out of the way. Right, out of the sight of the people who have the loudest voices and come to public comment or donate to their campaigns, right, or show up at candidate forums. These are the people that dominate the priority setting that we see at City Hall. The people that respond to surveys, right? Like if you get polled, you have the city calling you get an email, you get a text, asking you to participate in the city survey. Please do it. Because they need to hear from more. No matter what city you live in, they need to hear more from people like us, because all they listen to are the loudest voices, and that is exactly what happens. Is that you just have these you can't park here, you can't park your car here. It's like what's that line at the bar, right? At 2 a.m. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, right? Like they don't give a shit.
It's kind of like that, but like, you know that, I don't know, you choose to go to the bar.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to make the direct analogy. It's more just like the attitude of the bar. You know, hopefully bartenders are a little more empathetic than that. But like, you know, hey man, I got to close up. You got to go. I don't care where you go, but you got to go. And these city staffers are like, you know what, man, I'm just putting out the sign. Like, you just got to go. I don't really care where you go to, right? It's not me making the rules. But the problem is the people making the rules don't have any idea either, right? Like they have no plan at all for this. The bar owner has no plan, right? So that's the problem. It's not so much that
if I was a rich guy, my philanthropic and slightly anarchistic project would be to create an RV that if somebody tries to tow it, you just press a button and the hydraulics drop and the wheels retract, and now it's just a giant piece of fucking metal on the cement.
Now you're talking. I love this. Like
it's like a vehicular version of a sit-in.
Right, or the dead phone, right? The brick phone shut down. That's a great idea. I love this. Let's ponder this out a bit more. Yeah. So you know, not to say that this is, you know, there are situations where, you know, you do need to figure out some sort of solution, right? Because it is not sustainable, but it's also not sustainable just to say, don't park here. And then, as you can see, like within this one story, like they found a cohort of RV owners who just moved a couple miles over to a place where they were accepted. And the neighbors were like, yeah, it's cool. As long as you don't burn my house down, I'm cool with you parking your life, you know, in front of my house, because you need a place to park your life. So let's figure out ways to support people and give them these spaces that don't look like the fucking gulag, that don't look like prisons, right? I've seen so many. I drive around. I see these the emergency housing sites, and God bless them, they're trying to do a good thing, but they look like freaking Stalag 17, and it's like no one's gonna want to go. Like we wonder, like the mayor marvels, oh, we need to require people to take the housing that we give them. Like, we shouldn't be surprised when they refuse this housing that we offer them. Like, who wants to live there?
That looks like somebody should be taking fucking very somber vacation pictures in front of it, like the thing that they showed us.
Right. You know, and like, I'm not going to get services there. I'm not going to be loved there. I'm not going to feel community there. Like, they would probably feel more community with, you know, in an unsanctioned encampment with a bunch of other folks dealing with the same shit they're dealing with, right? Like, they don't want to go to this, you know, sterilized, you know, facility. It looks like they're being spied upon, right? Every moment. Like, just a parking lot. How hard is that? A parking lot with no fences and a couple porta potties. How hard is that? It's not that hard. But we make it difficult. Yeah. We make it so much harder than it has to be.
If you want to get fancy, fucking run a fiber line in there and give everybody Wi-Fi.
Fucking A, right? And you can have, you know, you bring in temporary lighting, whatever, you know, for safety, whatever you need.
Twitch streaming classes.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do that do not look like you're putting people in prison, right? Or that you're corralling them.
Yo, even other countries, their prisons. You ever seen the prisons in Northern Europe? The prisons in Northern Europe look nicer than that fucking place they're trying to park the RVs.
Yeah, not to get completely off track, but we've covered here on Downballot, right, talking about restorative justice, you know, prisons. Jeff Rosen's a big proponent of this, actually, our district attorney here in Santa Clara County, of prisons in Germany that he's visited, right, where it's communal living. You're like cooking with each other, like in a kitchen. You have access to kitchen tools like knives and shit, right? And you're in prison. Your room is like a room. You have a bed, you have a desk, you have a window. You can go outside and not just like walk around like a little gravel lot like like people have to walk around in our prisons here, right? Like around in a circle. You can actually go outside in a field and play and you know, and just be one with nature, right? And what do you know? There's less recidivism. People commit less crime, right? And they learn a thing or two, and they can improve themselves and you know, have better lives. So amazing how it works when we actually treat people with empathy and humanity.
And you don't let your society arm itself to the teeth. That probably helps too.
That does help, and you don't bias everyone in your society against folks who are unhoused or who don't look like you or don't, you know, have the same experiences that you do.
Yep. Well, let's move on here. Our favorite company, Meta, is Yikes,
Yeah, it's
they're
a
laying a few thousand people off.
Yeah, international story with local impacts. So we're going to find out more about what they're doing with their new AI largesse.
Employees of one Silicon Valley company are bracing for pink slips today. Meta, owner of Facebook, is trimming 5% of its workforce. KTVU South Bay reporter Jesse Gary reports now from Menlo Park.
The first day of the work week brings the final day of employment for approximately 3,600 Meta employees. Beginning at 5 a.m. Monday, pink slips went out to what the company calls the lowest performers in an effort to move them out faster.
It appears that they are facing some really serious financial hurdles. Not only did they do rank and file, but they also did C-suite executives. So that's eliminating, that's creating more efficiencies, if you will.
The company classifies the cuts that impact countries from across the globe as performance terminations. U.S. workers are getting the bad news now. Employees in more than a dozen countries in Europe, Asia, and Africa get let-go notices February 11th through the 18th. Meta staffers in Germany, France, Italy, and the Netherlands are exempt from the cuts, according to Reuters, due to local regulations.
They have agreements with those governments to do certain things. And it's more national than it is individual.
The company says it'll expedite the hiring of machine learning engineers and other business critical roles. Some industry experts say employees who have pushed back against returning to full-time office work are being targeted by this second round of Meta reductions. From 2022 to 2023, the company sacked about a quarter of its workforce, or 21,000 people.
They're targeting the low performing.
What does that mean?
Those are performing up to the standards. Now, apparently, there's another blurb that says that Mr. Zuckerberg has raised the standards. Now, that low performing could be anything from not coming into the office and interacting with the rest of the people. Again, you see where I'm going with that. To simply just working from home and not doing much.
Experts say work from home costs companies in productivity, and many are or will soon.
Which experts?
Completely away from that option.
If the world is changing, which it sure as heck is for the technology business, getting everybody all in a room to figure out how we're going to do things differently is really important. And even just bringing everybody in for a meeting won't do it. People have to kind of hang out together and cope with the changes.
Meta executives say they will offer severance to the affected employees in line with what they have offered employees in the past who've been let go. There's no timeline for when the new hires for the business critical roles will begin or how many people will be hired. In Menlo Park, Jesse Gary, KTVU Fox 2 News.
So I'd be curious if we get some demographic information about those who are the low performers here, right? Because a lot of phrenology adjacent shit going on in the Silicon Valley marketplace of ideas, let's say right now.
Sure. Yeah. I would definitely like to hear a little bit more about this and how the decisions were made and what was it, performance eliminations or performance terminations? That was it, performance terminations. It sounds like something out of a THX 1138 or whatever, 1984. But what do we expect from our social media overlords? Yeah, let's hear a little more about this, but I'm sure we won't hear a little bit more. I'm sure they'll keep most of it to themselves. They can't hide the fact that they're laying people off, but the whys and the wherefores, so they don't have to discuss, and they probably never will, unfortunately.
When they say business critical, machine learning, that's stupid. They think they're going to replace some of these jobs with AI or whatever. But then they say business critical, I just hear like friends of the Trump administration.
Yeah, and anyone who's responsible for monetizing what they do. That's pretty much what we're talking about, right? Like everything else is negligible. Anything that generates more ad revenue.
Recently?
I mean, how so? Like I go on. So there's the dirty little secret of social media and communications managers. I use these tools pretty much just to push information out. I don't actually go and absorb information myself. So I don't know that I'm getting the full on experience. I mainly just use the business suite to post stuff on Facebook. So I don't actually go and scroll on Facebook a lot. Is there something
So I'll sometimes scroll and I see, like, I have a plugin in my browser called FB Purity that gets rid of all the sponsored posts, but gets rid of the recommended posts.
Oh, interesting.
So like the difference on my browser, it's sort of usable. the plugin makes the site a little slow because it's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in real time. But then on my phone, it's just like, hey, which one of these 9 different things are you going to fucking be conned out of your money by today, Dave? And I'm like, well, none of them.
Yeah, I've the propensity, the percentage, whatever you want to call it, of ads and sponsored posts to, or the ratio. How about that? The ratio of sponsored posts to legit posts from people who I have said, yes, I would like to follow this person and learn more about this thing and get updates from this thing, has definitely gone up exponentially. It's almost like every other post. You have to really be careful too, right? Because some things are designed deliberately to look like something you would already like, or maybe you already liked, or maybe you forgot that you followed in the middle of the night, right, when you were stoned or drunk or just really, tired and doom scrolling, right? Oh, did I follow that page? Who are these people, right? So, but yeah, it's like every other post now, at least, is a sponsored post or an ad. Same on Insta, same obviously on X. I'm not a big user of TikTok, so I don't know necessarily how their ad structure works, sponsored posts work, but yeah, it's a lot of shit. Most of the shit I see in my feed, I don't really have any interest in, and now that they've taken away the most recent feature or just the cleanup feature, and you have to use it, I'm just not going to use a bot to clean it up. I'm just not going to scroll. I'm just not going to use it, and that's it's unfortunate for anyone who thinks that they're getting to me as a target market. But obviously there's enough people that are still targets and susceptible targets that otherwise they wouldn't do it, right? Like they wouldn't, that's not, they wouldn't operate that way.
I'm finally starting to see our friends in the music scene get kind of hip to what's going on there. Because what people might not know this if you're not plugged into local music scenes, but Facebook for quite some time, was pushing their products, being like, this is a home for your band, this is a home for your, I don't know if you're a promoter, this is a home for your nightclub. We your fans will see your stuff here. You can occasionally buy some ads, but basically people can follow you here.
You don't need a website. You don't need your own infrastructure.
I think during COVID, they pulled the rug on everybody. When those people needed to reach their fans the most, Facebook pulled the rug on everybody and was like, hey, nobody's seeing your stuff. What if you bought an ad here? And I think finally some of the musicians are starting to see it, because the reason I'm saying this is I've had a few people, reach out to me. They're like, hey, I can't hire you to do some consulting, but we're friends. Like, just basically, what if I want to get the band off of Facebook? What if I want to go somewhere else with our messaging? And what I've basically told them, I'm like, it's going to be hard, but you just get your own fucking website. Get a website, and then use the tools available from Squarespace or WordPress or wherever you go with, because there's tools that when you post some shit on the website, it'll post that shit to all the social media for you, so you never have to go there. And if nobody sees it, you posted it on your website where it fucking belongs in the first place. So if nobody sees it on Facebook, who cares?
Right. Yeah, you don't what I've always, and I do this consulting for a living, or I have in the past, and what I've always preached is your website is always your hub. Like the space, you need a space where, and even, today, even with Squarespace or, WordPress, right, you're still not 100% in control, right? Like the platform can dictate.
So Squarespace and WordPress are two different things. WordPress, you can be 100% in control, but then now, guess what you get to be? You get to be a Linux systems administrator.
Right. And not everyone has the, bands don't have necessarily the bandwidth, but you need a space where you control the information, where you control the content, you control the communication, you control the marketing and everything. You control the message, right? Whatever the message is, you control that there. There's no way you can control it on Facebook, on Insta, on any of the social media sources, because of the very nature of what they are, which is designed to remove anyone from control and make it sort of this hive mind mentality, right? That can be manipulated and twisted as anyone sees fit, right? But you need a hub. You need a hub where all your message is, and then you use these tools as spokes to bring in people, right? Buyers, viewers, fans, whoever you're trying to recruit to your cause, voters, right? And you choose the social media sites as your sign in the mall, right? Like, you let people know that you're there, right? But it's up to them to walk into the mall, and once they're into the store, and once they're in the store in your website, you control the message. You have them, and you can, and they're getting the direct word from the horse's mouth, as it were. So yeah, you're right. We were sold. Everyone's been sold, and they're still buying into it. I know a lot of organizations and youth organizations that just they say, "Oh, we've got an Insta." I'm like, "You don't have a website?" They're like, "What's a website?" Right? We've got an Insta account. So yeah, watch out for that, kids, because Mark Zuckerberg could change his mind on a whim, and your platform is, done.
As I start throwing events again, I'm finding there are places actually that aren't social media where you can post your events for free, and some of these places they'll like include you in their email blast on the day of the event, and I'm like, that's better than having a Facebook event that what is it, free and cheap SF or and then like the city of Oakland has a web page where you can put that stuff. Even like Eventbrite's a little more gamified, and they're trying to do more like social bullshit on Eventbrite, but
they're upcharging more too for their services, I've noticed.
If you want to be in their email blast, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But there are ways around this, and I think I think that Facebook, as far as like music and entertainment goes, I think they pulled the rug on it because there was no way for them to monetize my event.
Right.
So, speaking of my event, it's on the 28th. It's at Bricks, and we already have about 100 people having responded on Facebook, though most of them just said interested, which means they're not going.
Interested. Yeah, I remember when I used to just put interested just to keep it on my calendar. Moving right along, so we got a few more winners and losers to get through here on this docket. Just a quick one, following up on a story from last year. The Safeway, the Venerable Road Safeway in the Fillmore district that everyone knows and loves is no more. And we've got more about that from KTVU.
Well, after 40 years of serving San Francisco's Fillmore district, the Safeway on Webster officially closed today. The store has bare shelves and empty aisles. Grocery and banking services ended in...
Oh, don't show that. Conspiracy theorists are going to say, look at what the fucking is happening in the store because of the New World Order.
Where are the eggs?
Final day of remaining pharmacy services. Locals tell us they are disappointed to see a grocery store within walking distance leave the neighborhood.
I mean, I think we're kind of in a bit of a grocery food desert around here. So you have to kind of go down to Whole Foods on Market or Trader Joe's in Hayes Valley.
The Booker T. Washington Community Service Center is offering produce at its Friday Fresh Market. Other programs are offering discounted transit service to help senior citizens and people with disabilities access grocery stores.
So that does suck, but I wonder if something's going to go in there. Like, I guess, I don't know. It depends on how you define it. Like where I live, not a lot within walking distance. There's one like grocery store within walking distance, but it's called Farmer Joe's, and it comes with the price tag that you would assume comes with a place called Farmer Joe's.
Not Trader Joe's, but Farmer Joe's.
Though I did get a dozen eggs there for $4 the other day. So not bad.
Solid. I mean, you just got to poke around. There are eggs to be had.
Not to get too off topic, but I think your local market is actually less likely to price gouge you on shit than these big companies are, because you'll get pissed off at Farmer Joe's and be like, well, I'm not buying your $9 bag of granola either, asshole.
So is Farmer Joe's like a level up from Trader Joe's or a level down or adjacent?
It's local. Actually, it's pretty good.
Cousin.
Okay. If you, it's pretty good. If you don't buy your staples there, right? Like don't buy canned food there. Don't buy like, Oro wheat bread. But if you want produce, or like if you want to buy like locally sourced meat or and that kind of stuff, it's okay. It's
okay. Yeah, we've got like Zanotto's here in my neighborhood. Right? Yeah. That's our example. That's our probably closest approximation. So I don't go there for milk.
Yeah. Don't go there for milk.
Yeah, no, not for the kid, of course. I need that bulk ass shit from Costco. The kid just drinks it all day. All right. So if you're going to Safeway, I'm sorry. We'll see what goes in there. It's up to Safeway if they want to sell the site, and then it'll probably get redeveloped into housing more than likely. But
so more people with no grocery store. It's probably like where I live, where there's like a lot of corner stores where you can pick stuff up, and even like there's produce at the corner stores, and there's even a produce market, which was okay for a while when I got here, but for whatever reason, they're having a hard time sourcing all the produce every day. By the end of the day, they're out of produce. I wonder what's going on. Is anything else happening in the world?
I don't know. There's no eggs.
That place, the eggs are fucking like $8 for 6 eggs, dude. I ain't paying more than $1 an egg. Fuck that. I'll buy a jar of mayo instead of paying that much for eggs. Like I'll make my own.
Dude,
I love making my own fucking mayo, but
at some point you go buy a chicken. I mean, fucking like I've got some room in the backyard here. I'll keep a chicken if you want. You go in on chicken with me.
320 square feet. There is not room for me in a chicken here.
We got a backyard here. Go in on it with us. Halvesies, and we'll deliver. We'll come up and deliver eggs for you.
That's great. We could, then we could go to there's nothing around. Oh, there's a good burger joint around here, actually.
There you go.
You guys should come up for
bring
lunch.
the eggs.
You guys should come up for lunch someday, actually. But that's a whole different matter. We should pretend that we're friends sometime, maybe when we're not on the podcast, and have conversations like call each other and stuff.
Dude,
like, what are you thinking about?
Cool.
What are you thinking about?
Hey, how you doing? What are you watching?
All right.
Do you ever think about? All right.
So we got.
No, I'm gonna hang up. You hang up. No, I'll hang up.
Oh, and Alameda too. Here, I'm gonna fix your typo on the docket. There we go.
Oh, sorry. You know what? It might not have been me. Oh, delicious. Yeah, sorry. All right. So, moving right along, people are sad in San Francisco because Safeway is going away. People are sad in Alameda because someone stole the Girl Scout cookies. I'm dead serious. It's bad out there.
Well, this is the time of the year that you'll see Girl Scout troops in communities across the Bay Area selling Girl Scout cookies. But unfortunately, a brand new troop in Alameda learned a hard lesson yesterday when thieves stole their cookies as they were setting up their booth. As Dial-In reports, it happened to a Daisy troop where the girls range in age from 4 to 6 years old.
Oh, man.
How old you are? How old are you? 4. We're turning 5 very soon.
At 4, 5, and 6 years old, these girls are still learning the complexity of our society and understand.
Oh my God!
Saturday.
Girls, do you understand that we had cookies stolen from us yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes. How did that make you feel to know someone took something and did not pay? Bad. It made you feel really bad.
Some bad people stole 4 cases of Girl Scout cookies as 2 parents were setting up in front of the busy Fix Q Barbecue restaurant on Park Street in Alameda. Each case contains 12 boxes of cookies, so that's 48 boxes of caramel delight gone.
$350 stolen from us, yes.
Mom Melissa Perez has 2 girls in the troop.
There you go. Oh, hey.
The 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. The first-time troop leader says it's hard to process why anyone would take from kids. There are 9 kindergarten students in the troop. They're known as Daisies because they're the youngest level in the Girl Scouts.
It was the very first time that they were selling cookies in public. It made us feel pretty defeated as a brand new troop.
Melissa says the theft happened around 11:30 a.m. when Park Street was packed with people and cars. Apparently, the thieves took advantage of the hustle and bustle and walked away with the cookies when no one was looking.
We're trying to keep in good spirits about it. We're living by the Girl Scout promise.
They don't want to go back to Park Street, so the group did some selling and playing at a busy local park on Sunday.
Pushing your feet.
The Daisies are raising money for a field trip to Sienna Ranch to ride ponies. Despite the theft, Melissa says they're able to turn this negative experience into something positive.
Alameda peeps, we love you. Thank you so much. You guys have helped us raise over $200 in donations. We appreciate you.
The parents filed a police report. They want to remind other troops to be careful as well, since a lot of them are selling in front of grocery stores this month and next month. And if you want to support Melissa and the Daisies, they'll be selling in this driveway at 2151 Buena Vista Avenue.
Great. Good job giving the fucking thieves the location. So check this out. If you see somebody stealing food at the grocery store, no, you didn't. And if you see somebody stealing anything from the Girl Scouts, you body slam them.
Seriously, this is just awful, right? Like, there are definitely no winners here at all, unfortunately. Although I think that post this story, this troop is going to be a big winner because I imagine that you're going to see people coming out of the woodwork to fund their GoFundMe page or buy them out of all. We're gonna let's mob their table and buy them out of all their cookies, right? So that's gonna happen. They're gonna go on their field trip, and I'm sure it's gonna all go down well. But who in the fucking right mind takes cookies away from kids that they were using to fund a field trip to go ride ponies? I mean, are you serious?
And they were probably going to learn because all those little girls want a pony too. So they were probably going to learn things like what a pain in the ass it is actually to have a pony. They're going to get some life lessons in addition to meeting the ponies, I think.
And they're trying to learn that's what Girl Scout cookies is all about, is teaching them capitalism, right? And what are they learning? That we
just found out from the chat that their GoFundMe raised $43,000, so they can buy one of those kids a pony.
Shit, they can buy a pony. My whole ranch of ponies. Holy shit. Well, good on them. I figured that would happen. But and thanks for the chat for looking it up. But yeah, just God, maybe get your shit together. Honorable mention for these assholes that steal fucking Girl Scout. And who needs 4 cases of caramel delights? They're good.
What is the black market like on girl? Because I can't go sit somewhere and sell my stolen Girl Scout cookies.
For those caramel delights,
something seems wrong here. You go, oh no, my daughter has COVID, and so
I can think of a few motives. A rival Girl Scout troop, right? This is a gang war that we don't know about, and they're like,
sometimes just be real like that.
Well, this is a new troop, right? So maybe they're encroaching on another Daisy Troop's freaking cookie selling territory, and this was retaliation. But you'd think that they would know, if that was the situation, they would leave a note or some sort of Joker, card, right, to say this was us. Don't fucking fuck with the troop 1969 or whatever.
Little Sally would have already been shaken down on the playground in kindergarten by Becky from the other troop, right? There would have been warnings. There would have been a decapitated cookie box left on their front porch,
right? Or a puppy. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting really dark now. But anyway, and no one really needs that many caramel delights. Those are samosas, by the way, for anyone who is familiar with the previous names of Girl Scout cookies. They've all been renamed now. Even the Thin Mints aren't Thin Mints anymore. It's chocolate minty cookie or something. I forget, but they've come with all these more generic names, but they're still delicious. So eat very responsibly and don't steal 4 cases. And they could maybe just, who knows, maybe they just really like Girl Scout cookies and that's all they eat.
Now we have fucking cookie preference beef in the chat.
Oh wow. I don't know. There's another one they have now. It's a caramel brownie chocolate drizzle one that's ridiculous. But the peanut butter one, that's probably my favorite. The peanut butter chocolate covered cookie.
Ooh, the peanut butter one. No joke. Throw a few of them in your vanilla milkshake, friend.
Ooh, that sounds so good. Okay, I'm outie. You can do the rest of the show.
Fuck Twitch. We're gonna.
I got a cousin. She's got some in her house. She's selling. I'm gonna go. I gotta go.
Hey, it's Pete.
She goes to bed and she goes to bed at 9. I gotta get over there. You got my stuff? I'll throw rocks at her window hey, cuz, what? You got my stuff? All right, moving right along. So residents are upset everywhere about something, and
not in my neighborhood. Right. Everybody's hi as they walk by. They seem happy here.
They're all high? That sounds like a fun neighborhood.
Probably, yeah. I do live in the town now.
But apparently, even in Sonoma County, people will find something to be pissed about. So apparently it's planes, because if you live next to an airport, there's going to be planes, and they're not happy about it.
Constantly being interrupted by this. Take a listen.
Chemtrails?
Sounds like the white noise generator I use when I can't sleep.
There has been a sudden spike in noise complaints in Sonoma County. Some residents say they've been living in the same homes for decades and have never heard anything like this. It's all because of a recent shift in flight paths for planes departing from the Charles Schultz Sonoma County Airport. Kenny Choi has more on the Herculean.
Wait, Charles Schultz, like the Peanuts guy? That's cool as fuck.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's not look up the Peanuts guy. He's probably as awful as the Dilbert guy.
Correct. Chat, if you could look up the name of the airport, though, that would be great.
FAA to quiet things down.
Change the mufflers on the planes. Somebody be stealing the catalytic converters off the planes.
Teresa Martinelli Jones has lived in her Sebastopol home for more than 17 years. The noise of airplanes above has never been an issue until recently.
It's high engine pitch. It's a scream.
Starting early last year, she and her partner suddenly noticed larger commercial airlines with louder engines at seemingly lower altitudes, making more frequent flight paths directly above their home.
We could not hear each other trying to talk 3 feet away. I mean, the sound was just...
Can you without the plane? I'm not saying some shit, but you're getting a little up there in age, and sometimes you're,
Honey.
Hundreds of residents submitted noise complaints to local officials and the airport over about a 10-month span. Complaints shot up by a range of 200% to more than 600% last year over 2023.
We've really seen a sharp uptick in noise complaints regarding the airport in places that really never experienced a lot of airplane noise before.
Linda Hopkins is a county supervisor who says even local farmers she's never heard from before have reached out for help. The FAA initiated new departure procedures in January last year.
It feels like they're trying to push the planes lower in Sonoma County to make way for kind of the larger Metro Bay area to have kind of the higher space.
Hopkins and the Board of Supervisors are conducting their own study to present to the FAA a new flight plan that would have to be approved and adopted. They're asking for a defined flight path, saying too many residents, especially in West Sonoma, including parts of Sebastopol, Occidental, and Lower Russian River, are being impacted the most.
It sounds like it's a years-long process if any changes will be made by the FAA.
It's very frustratingly slow.
Other residents see the situation differently.
I'm actually feeling like we're quite lucky for getting more airline flights out of Sonoma County Airport. So
yeah, I bet some of the same people who wanted fucking more access to the fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? It was probably the same people who, oh no.
I actually think this is one of the quietest parts of Sonoma County.
Airport records show continued growth, more flights, and record passenger numbers year after year post-pandemic. Martinelli Jones understands she's up against a federal agency with ultimate authority over flight paths.
I'm just asking that the airport and FAA, my little request, right, that they please work with us.
But she also knows if residents make enough noise of their own, it could put the pressure on authorities to bend in their favor.
The airport has been holding town hall meetings for residents with any updates. The county has also hired a consultant to help with their proposal for flight path changes to the FAA.
This is what you get when you fucking vote down the fucking California forever shit. They just fucking fly the planes over your house. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You live near an airport. There's not much you can do about it. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't matter how high the planes are flying. Or they have to land. They have to take off. You live near an airport. There's going to be noise. The good wife and I live, probably a couple miles from San Jose Airport, right? And we hear incoming and outgoing, especially all the time. We have double pane windows, as everyone does in this community, because of that very thing. We live near the flight path. A lot of people in San Jose live near the flight path because the airport is right in the middle of town. So I guess maybe because we deal with it all the time, and I went to high school where, we had to interrupt class for like a few seconds every time a plane, took off from the airport because we were that close. But that's, you're near an airport. You live near an airport. You bought a house near an airport. I'm sorry. Now, if the airport like moved in after you bought the house, then okay. But I don't think any of y'all were there before the airport. So it's just like I heard today. There was a guy, producer Dave, I swear to Christ, there was a guy who came in to bitch about a downtown bar where the guy was getting a permit to do live music, and he said, you can't have live, I live down here and there's already too much traffic and noise and music going on. He lives behind the Sofa District, like literally like the block over. He's like, there's too much noise and music going on already, and you can't approve this other, music venue because then there'll just be more people having fun, listening to music and drinking alcohol in my neighborhood.
Well, don't worry, it's in San Jose. No one's going to go, friend.
Right. That's one thing I thought was, first of all, that's not, I don't know how you perceive that as a problem now. And two, you live fucking downtown. You live fucking, it was all I could do not to scream. You live fucking one block from Sofa, you asshole. Like, I don't care what the cost of living is. Go find another place to live if you don't like it. That's exactly what this neighborhood is for. Arts and music and partying. So sorry. That's what we're going to do here now. Anyway, speaking of partying and arts, one more quick one under winners and losers. As a former arts commissioner, this is one of my favorite tropes, but the public art that, God forbid, someone's going to climb on.
A new safety measure is being put in place for an 18-foot tall sculpture in San Francisco's Hayes Valley.
The talking head sculpture was installed last month in Patricia Green's on Octavia. It was originally created for the Burning Man Festival in Nevada. According to the Chronicle, it instantly drew lots of visitors and led to increased safety measures after children were seen climbing on the structure. The city has now surrounded the area with temporary safety pylons and signs warning visitors to stay off. Permanent signage is currently in the works.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I think about that and who should be keeping kids off of the public art if they don't want them climbing on it? Their parents.
Their parents. Also, do they mean kids or do they mean like stoned teenagers?
Right. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's public art. It's a sculpture. Kids are going to climb on it. It doesn't matter what you do. You can put spikes all over the fucking thing. They would figure out how to climb on it, right? Like, and if they break their ass, then that's why you have liability laws, right? So, like, I don't understand. I don't get this. It looks silly to have little orange pylons around a piece of public
Right, like somebody
art,
in chat
right?
just said, I'm an adult. Those pylons will cause me little hindrance.
Right, correct, right? Especially the stoner kids we're talking about, who are really probably the nuisance that they're worried about. But yeah, as the father of a 2-year-old, if my 2-year-old climbed up on a piece of public art and fell off and broke their face, that is on me. That is a me problem. I will fully accept that responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the city to, protect my child from climbing on public art. It's art. But it's also just like a bench or a public tree, right, in a park. Like, where do you draw the line? Their kids are going to climb on shit. They're kids. They climb on shit.
Ooh,
I'm constantly pulling my daughter off of shit.
Electrifying it.
Yeah, I mean, shit. There's some stuff in our house I'm sure my wife and I would love to electrify, but we're constantly pulling our daughter off of shit, so that she climbs onto, because she just loves climbing and she loves getting on top of shit. So, it goes with the territory. So, corral your kids. That's all I'm going to say.
So we're going to move on to get your shit together in our continuing saga of the, I'm sure, beautiful city of Antioch.
I'm sure there are lovely people there, and they're, and I'm sure it has a lot going for it. And there's Bart, right? And so there's that going for it.
So you can leave.
But yeah, but it's a little rough right now. It's a little rough right now if you're in Antioch. But hey, they're trying their best to move forward, and they're looking to make some changes. And we're going to learn more about that in this hit from ABC7.
The city of Antioch has begun its search for a new police chief. The city held its first community forum today, allowing residents a voice in picking who will lead their police department. But whoever's hired comes into a department reeling from a racist texting scandal. ABC7 News reporter Ansar Hassan has the story.
The police department hasn't had a permanent chief since 2001.
Antioch City Manager Bessie Marie Scott is leading the search for Antioch's next police chief. The city held the first of 3 community forums on Saturday.
Past conversation has been kind of trauma-based with what occurred, but today everyone kind of came together.
Portia Taylor chairs the Antioch Police Oversight Commission. She says topics focused on accountability, community policing, and transparency.
It's good to hear us. I hope they're listening. It's not going to be an easy job. It's going to be decades, I feel like, in the making to change things.
Frank Sterling, a longtime Antioch activist, also attended the morning meeting. He applauds the city's efforts to solicit community input, but is somewhat skeptical on how much impact it will have.
This kind of community input is going to be important to move forward in the future, especially in Antioch with what was revealed through the text messages when you got a good look at what they were actually thinking and saying.
2 years ago, the FBI uncovered a racist texting scandal that led to 40% of the police department being put on paid leave. In January, a consent decree was announced between Antioch and the United States Department of Justice, outlining areas where the police department needs to make major changes. Scott says the new chief will
I think they're going to fucking have a new consent decree that demands they rehire all the racist text people.
and stronger supervision.
How do you build
There's a new sheriff in town.
teams of officers who are doing very difficult work in a very difficult environment, given the other issues across the, health, housing, education, in a state of, diminishing resources everywhere.
The application process closes at the end of February. Residents can also take part through a community survey available on the city's website. Scott says the city hopes to have a new chief in place by June. In Antioch, Ansar Hassan, ABC 7 News.
They should just hire like the assistant manager from like a fucking fast food joint. Because if somebody in Antioch knows how to fucking do de-escalation tactics, it's going to be that fucking person.
Seriously, I that's a very good point. Maybe we're recruiting from all the wrong places for these jobs. So let's think outside the box, right? Project managers, people and people managers, people who know how to manage people who know how to manage programs. That's what we need in government on all sides.
Real quick, the chat was noticing, I think the news person misspoke. They've probably been without a permanent police chief since 2021, not since 2001. I think the newscaster did misspeak.
Oh, yeah. That's true. It was either that or it was the city manager. But, she's just getting her head around all the different issues she's got to deal with cleaning up. So, and she's got a new mayor to deal with. Mr. White. So
I liked the old one, honestly. I mean,
I
he got
preferred
voted out,
him.
but I liked when he just he got pissed off and was just like, fuck this, and walked out of his own city council meeting because of everything that was going on, because he's just a human being who was at his fucking wit's end. I was like, I feel that, Mayor. I feel that.
But really, he owned it, right? He's like, yeah, we're failing our community. We got to do better, and we're doing better, and we're trying our best.
Oopsie. He got voted out, and some fucking generic white guy that looks like he probably fired me at Cisco took the job.
Bob. I forget his name, but yeah, I'll call him Bob, Mayor Bob. You know what? Good. Honestly, I hope that the former mayor, was it Lamar, gets some time away from being a fucking pincushion for the community and can like find some solace and some peace and doing something better than having to be a public servant in a town with a lot of issues like that. So hopefully he's in a better place.
All right. Well, now on Downballot / recall watch.
Yeah, going on down. There's not a whole lot happening in local election, or at least coverage of local elections, but there is one election that we're going to be avidly watching, and it's coming up very, very soon, in less than a month. The vote on allowing the Board of Supervisors in San Mateo County to axe their sheriff, and we're going to learn more about the campaign right now.
You deserve better. Stand up against corruption and vote yes on Measure A.
A culture of intimidation, retaliation, and corruption. Allegations made against San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corp.
Wait, isn't that the sheriff's job?
Have led to countywide calls for her resignation. Now, the voters who may have once supported her have the opportunity to authorize her removal.
They saw her as someone who is going to bring good things to the sheriff's office into this community. And I think every single one of them is now against her. She has turned every single person who supported her against her.
The San Mateo County Deputy Sheriff's Association, an organization of sheriff sergeants, urging voters to vote yes on Measure A, which would amend the county charter and give the Board of Supervisors the power to remove Sheriff Corpus from office for cause. They say cause would include neglect of duties, misappropriation of public funds, and obstruction of misconduct investigations.
Measure A is a clear and immediate solution to restoring the integrity and accountability that our residents deserve in the sheriff's office.
Sheriff Corpus has filed an injunction to stop the special election, saying Measure A is not about public safety, but rather a politically motivated attack. She has also...
It's an election. I hate when people start, this fucking thing on the ballot is political.
It's political. Shut the fuck up. The closing that park is so political.
Also filed a $10 million claim against the county, alleging unfair treatment because she is a Latinx woman. But Detective Elliot Storch says calls for her removal have nothing to do with race or gender, but her actions.
If she didn't do any of these things, if she wasn't abusing the people who worked here, if she wasn't fostering this climate and culture of fear and retaliation, none of this would be happening.
The city of San Mateo may soon join San Carlos and Millbrae with a vote of no confidence in Corpus. Meanwhile, these other San Mateo County leaders say their next vote will be a yes on A.
The actions of Sheriff Corpus have denigrated everything the county is trying to do to protect our communities.
We cannot stand by and allow fear to silence the voices of those who seek justice.
Now is the time to hold our sheriff accountable. And Measure A is that opportunity.
Measure A will be decided by the voters on March 4th. In San Mateo County, Dustin Dorsey, ABC 7 News.
So I don't like recalls, but why the fuck are they doing it this way instead of just fucking doing a recall?
I don't precisely know. other than it would take, it might take longer. You have to gather. So the way it's been done here, the Board of Supervisors cannot initiate a recall. The citizens can, but it takes a petition, right? That would take a lot longer to collect enough signatures, certify them, and then get all this on the ballot. And in addition to, there's a lead up time where you have to get a petition certified and approved before you can even take it out the door. So I would just guess that they saw that as a much longer play, and this would get them to the same result sooner. It is it's absolutely political, like you said. I mean, all of this shit is political. So much in our world is political, but this is very literally political by nature, no matter what angle you pursue it from. So I that would be my guess, is that this is just, I'm not familiar with all of the debate around the whys and wherefores for this route. I would guess that timing is number one factor. They wanted to get this done sooner than later. And as you can see, March 4th, they have an election coming up. Whereas if they did if it was a citizen-based recall or a community-based recall, you're looking at like 6 months, probably at least, before you could get it on the ballot, if not longer.
So maybe you don't know this. This doesn't change it to the position being an appointed position, right? It just changes it to be like you can be removed by the county board even after you were elected.
Correct. You can take a vote of no confidence. It's basically allowing them to take a vote of no confidence and to physically remove her from the office. You're as an elected official, and she's got. I haven't come completely full circle because I have no idea what's going on inside her office, and maybe she's running an office that's based on fear and manipulation and all those things. She hasn't done anything illegal. She has not broken the law. She has not broken the even the trust of the voters, right, or the contract she has with the voters. So I've come quite a ways around on this story. Whatever I think of both sides. But she's an elected official, and as an elected official, you do have rights. Like, you technically cannot be removed and should not be able to be removed by anyone but the voters, right? So either by election or by recall. This power is not intended to go to any other body. So what the supervisors are doing are asking voters to allow them, in this one instance, by the way, their power will sunset based on the law that people are being asked to pass. The law will sunset once this is done, right? So they were basically saying, let us do it this one time, and we won't be allowed to do it again.
This is bullshit.
Yes. So this is why I've come completely around on this. I don't know what the original motivation was to do this, investigation into her office, to do the report. It does smack of organized labor coming together because they don't like this sheriff for whatever reason. I don't know, again, what the election was
like. By
organized
labor, you mean like cop union?
Yeah, but I saw the San Mateo. I don't want to dox them, but I did see the head of the San Mateo County Labor Council in that backdrop there, and a lot of other labor friends who are not, deputy sheriffs from San Mateo County coming together. So labor writ large, I imagine, could be behind this, if depending on who supported her corpus that is in her election. If labor backed her or didn't back her is more likely. It seems like maybe they just had it in for her, and they saw an opportunity, just like we've seen with the recalls in the East Bay and in Oakland. The folks saw an opportunity, folks who did not like the person in charge or who lost out in the election to that person, and are now using the process and all these other tools in the court of public opinion to, get what they want, as opposed to using just the ballot box and the normal electoral process. And
and like the corruption
I don't know, but that's my guess.
The corruption they're describing, if I heard it happen in Shasta, I'd be like, oh, so this is the least corrupt sheriff you've ever had.
Right. It's when you start to talk about it, they can say 400-page report and whatever. Like I could write you a 400-page report about, my catalytic converter getting stolen, right? But it's still just one incident. It seems like it is a lot. It starts to seem, the more and more you hear about it, it does seem like it's a lot of political, just blowharding or bloviating and pontificating, and not a whole lot about like the safety of the community or what's actually happening in her office. And but again, I don't know that it's not a hot mess. I don't know that it is, but I'm feeling less and less like it's like we should care, right? Like, as long as public safety is still protected and she's still doing her job. Like, just if you don't like her, run someone else against her in a couple of years. She's only going to be in, she has to run for re-election next year. So
yep,
I don't understand why we're going through this whole exercise.
Yeah, it's strange, and it would be nice if there were circumstances under which, like, hey, if this person was charged with a crime or if they were indicted, by any of these following agencies, then the board could remove them and replace them because they are, they got other shit to do. Actually, maybe they're mine, but that's not what this is.
No, but it could set a really bad precedent, and unfortunately we've got a lot of bad precedents being set in our electoral politics these days, and it's going to be it's unfortunate if it becomes normalized, if this kind of shit becomes just how we do it, because that's not how this is. I don't want to say not how it was intended, because God knows how the forefathers or the founding white men intended it, but it's certainly not how democracy is going to best function. So.
All right. Well, we did a story last week about whether or not Oakland should be allowing high-speed chases, and we talked about, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but we talked about how, like, all it really does is serves to double or triple the amount of cars traveling at dangerous speeds and extend the amount of time during which the original car might be traveling at a dangerous speed. San Francisco has loosened the restrictions on high-speed police chases, and if you could imagine, there was a police chase and somebody fucking crashed in a busy part of town.
Yes, no one apparently has passed away in this story, so I do want to warn everyone, though, but there were injuries, and it might be triggering, so just wanted to give that heads up. We don't like to do snuff stuff here on Downballot, but we can run the story.
Today, police told us that the whole thing started across town when officers near the Stonestown Galleria spotted an SUV that was reported stolen out of the city of Richmond. That SUV took off, crashing into the parklet at 24th Street and South Van Ness. 2 women inside the crashed car were arrested. 6 bystanders in the parklet were hurt. This crash comes less than a year after city voters approved a measure to loosen the rules when police can actually chase suspects. Amanda Harry has the very latest on the crash and heard from some in the area who have concerns about that new pursuit policy.
Things are looking different here at the Napper Tandy. All signs of the parklet are completely gone, and the owner doesn't know if they're going to put it back, but they are receiving a ton of support from the community.
Oh, I actually thought it was an earthquake or something. Yeah, I did. Just big bang and smoke.
That's what owner of the Napper Tandy, Marissa McGarr, said it sounded like when a police chase ended with a suspect vehicle crashing into their parklet during the Super Bowl. It looks almost unrecognizable. The roof fell and injured 6 people inside.
I heard the sirens and we get the alert through our cell phones. So we hear the news.
Isai Cuevas owns Donahue Restaurant. They have a parklet just yards away from where the crash happened. Now he's unsure what to do with it.
And is it really worth it for us now?
Police say the pursuit reached speeds of 45 miles per hour. Cuevas thinks the...
So people, 45 doesn't sound fast, but if you're driving through Metro San Francisco at 45 miles an hour, you are hauling ass.
Yeah, I would feel like freeway speeds for sure.
You are hauling ass if you were driving through the Mission at 45
miles an hour. There's not a lot of room.
Hour.
There's just not a lot of room to negotiate, right? To maneuver. Yeah.
Evaluate Proposition E, which took effect in November. It allows police to initiate a pursuit if they believe the suspect is involved in any felony or violent misdemeanor. The previous policy restricted chases to violent felonies or if police believe the suspect posed an imminent threat.
I think in neighborhoods, it shouldn't happen, to be honest. It puts more people in danger.
That's why they didn't do it in the first place, because San Francisco is just wall-to-wall fucking neighborhoods. That's why they weren't doing it to begin with. Yeah, it's a fucking bad idea.
I think that will work, and I'm sure that they're gonna review that.
No, they're not.
Through this incident.
While cleanup continued on Monday, supporters of Prop E still say it helps improve public safety. But the supervisor,
not if you're in that parklet.
Jackie Fielder, has concerns.
Or the hospital.
Continue to have serious questions related to why SFPD needed to engage in a dangerous high-speed chase in a residential neighborhood that sent 6 people to the hospital and
because you told them they could, and they're cops. They're fucking cowboys. That's why.
killed someone. SFPD has not commented
I
on
don't give a fuck about the mission. I don't live there.
updated guidelines. But Luke Bornheimer, the executive director of Streets Forward, believes the crash may not have happened if it wasn't for Prop E.
I think this is the unfortunate result of a policy, allowing police chases that decreases public safety, ironically.
Ironically, no, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that it's going to make the person drive faster for longer, and now you got cop cars traveling at fucking high speed through your neighborhood. No, this is not ironic. This is the word you were looking for is obvious.
Right.
You're looking
There's
for
a
the word
direct correlation.
obvious.
Yes.
That
correlating.
Bornheimer is disappointed that multiple businesses are rethinking their parklets.
I think parklets have been a tremendous addition to the city. I think the city should be actually doing more to incentivize and encourage businesses to create parklets.
But Cuevas says at this point, it's just too difficult to keep them safe.
We have the bumper. This got vandalized. They took over that's part of it. We have the reflecting tapes.
He believes it may make more sense to remove it.
In incidents like this, they just set us back a little bit.
Everyone who was injured in the crash on Sunday is expected to make a full recovery.
As for the suspects, police arrested 32-year-old Taylor Ross of San Francisco and 29-year-old Eureka Abrams of Bay Point. Both had outstanding arrest warrants.
Yeah, but fucking.
I can't wait to hear about that one too. They should have been in jail.
Well, that may or may. I mean, if they had arrest warrants, sure, but I don't understand. Like they followed him for a while.
Yeah. The reason why this is on Down Ballot Watch is because this is what happens, folks. This is the direct impact of letting voters decide issues of that. Obviously, they don't necessarily fully grasp the consequences of, right, and that rhetoric can be inflamed around to get them to, vote one way or another without a full grasp of the consequences. And this push for more public safety and for cleaning up our streets and all the kind of bootlicking policies that former Mayor Breed pushed, right, and D.A. Jenkins are pushing, and Mayor Ed 209 is pushing in San Jose. Eventually they do come home to roost. So be careful what you wish for.
I can't 45 mile, that's the mission is tight. It's no.
I can't imagine, a car coming down the street that
even
speed.
not
I would
running
not be
from somebody. If I was just in someone's car and they were doing 45 miles an hour down fucking 24th Street, I'd be like, let me out. Let me out of your car. Let me out of your car.
Let me out of the car.
Slow down. Let me out of your
Craig.
car. What are you doing?
Let me out of the car, Craig. Let me out of the car, Craig. You're not going to get a resolution to that anytime soon, unfortunately, community member, because it was a ballot box decision. So the voters might have to go back and fix that, to be honest with you. I don't know how that's going to work out, but and I sorry, supervisor, you're surprised, you're shocked, come on, let's be honest with ourselves.
So we got to add another thing. This is actually this is a great story. I think it's kind of lame, but it's kind of cool, adorable lame.
Right. That's why I figured it would fit. I was looking for the right story for this. It was either going to be this or the Girl Scout cookies, and that was just too sad. And we've had too many sad and other things lately. So if we're going to end the show this week, I wanted to do it on an up note. So it's Valentine's Day, and Bart is trying to drive ridership, but also drive a little love at the same time.
If you're single and looking to mingle on Valentine's Day, why not do it on Bart?
Yeah, why not?
That was my first thought. The agency is hosting a speed dating event February 14th. Oh, I have so many jokes here that I can't say.
Say them. Just
say the jokes. Say that. What's your Twitch channel? I want to hear the jokes.
Say all the jokes.
My goodness. The train will depart the downtown Berkeley station, going to the 24th Street station before heading back to Berkeley. No stops. Riders will be busy getting to know each other or cowering in fear in the corner. I added the last part there, but that's a possibility
that
as well.
Is a funny mark. They're desperate for riders. It's never recovered since the pandemic. It's a funny idea. I hope people try it just to help them out.
Well, it's sold out.
Yeah.
So some people are going to do it.
It's the kind of kitschy idea that young people actually love.
right?
Oh, you know who's in touch with the youth is this fucking lady in the fucking pink.
This whole panel, obviously, like they definitely have their finger on the pulse.
It's sold out, and it's gonna be like fucking
That's
like
awesome.
90% tech bros and like
Yeah, right. But I mean, to the point about cowering in the corner, I would hope that if you bought a ticket for the ride, you wouldn't go and just sit in the corner. You're actually going to engage and try to find the love of your tech bro life. Your tech bro wife.
Sharing one Clipper card, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to see if Angela will go for it. We're happily married, all of us here, but I may see if instead of a fancy dinner, she'll take a BART ride with me.
Dan, I get this feeling she's not going to go for that.
Maybe. Hey, Dan, maybe that could be your anniversary gift.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey,
oh
now.
man, they got Bants. They got fucking Bants on the news, dude.
This is absolutely the last, just like, and another thing is it mimics the local news because there's always one story at the end, the last 30 seconds where they just bant, like this is the thing. They get to vamp and be funny with each other, like no one's watching, right? Even though we all are.
To be fair, this is better than the last Twitch panel I went on.
Probably. Well, these are like the A+. This is the A+. Like you got Mark Ibanez, you got Astley, you got these are some good olds here. So anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. Is there more? Oh, there's more. Holy shit. Sorry. Keep going.
Maybe single on the BART car next year.
Yeah, you'll be back next season.
Yeah, right. Like if I say, "Hey, Good Wife," I mean, to be honest, the one thing I do love about The Good Wife and our relationship is that neither one of us give two fucks about all the sentimental bullshit around anniversaries and Valentine's Day and all holidays. We understand that it's just every day is the thing, right? And it's the struggle and the journey is the most important thing. So presents, gifts, whatever. But I swear to God, if I told The Good Wife, hey, we're going on BART for our anniversary, I may not be married next year. That's absolutely
Well, that would be like
true.
that would be like, oh, you're taking me to the city? You'd be like, no.
Yeah, like we went to a show the other day, right? And we took BART to get to the show, right? Which makes perfect sense because the show was like right next to BART. But yeah, if we just took BART, like, hey, we're gonna run to the end of the line and then we're gonna ride all the way back. It's gonna be so romantic.
When I was younger, I did that, but that's because I wanted to know where the fuck BART went.
Sure, right? And I just don't imagine any romantic nights with that, like the whine of the wheels in the background.
I'm gonna refrain from commenting about things I may or may not have done on the last train of the BART on the way home at some point.
Unless there was were cameras, it's all good. I didn't see anything. Cone of silence. All right. Well, that's the end of our docket for this week, Producer Dave.
Oh, great. Do you wanna read the show out for us?
I do. I would so love to join you for public comment and to watch the 2.5 hour, like breezy
2 hours.
2 hours. Oh, that's like a brief meeting of the Shasta County Board.
Well, you don't worry. We'll replace you with a beautiful woman.
Oh, lovely. The media wench?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, fabulous.
What other beautiful woman would hang around here?
That's true. Well, I can, who knows? Maybe one day I'll come back as a beautiful woman and Donald Trump will want to, not allow me to play sports. So anyway, thank you so much, Producer Dave, for joining me as always. We'll get into that story next week. We do this, as Producer Dave mentioned at the top of the show, every Tuesday, not Thursday night at 7:30 Pacific, followed by public comment and the red light portion of the show. So please stay tuned. Check in at echopluxmedia.com for all of the wonderful shows on this network. And if you're in a position to get vaxxed, please do that. You can wear a mask if you like. We don't do that on this show, but that's because we're like all isolated. But if you don't want to wear pants, I'm not wearing pants right now. It's totally optional. We're going to leave you with some Audible Smoke and see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week and peace out.
time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. Now get the fuck up on stage, man, rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty and 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside?
I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rocking me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jocking me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily.
We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marley say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah,
we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and